YouTube, but what is going on? Vexel here, and today I thought I'd bring you guys a different kind of video than what's normally posted on my channel. Today I thought we'd do a little bit of a react video. I've been really entertained and interested in this channel called What If down there in the corner if you see. It's been really interesting. I've loved a lot of the videos that they posted, so I thought I might as well react to some of them with you guys, and let's see what you guys think. All right, let's get this video started.
Did you know that there are black holes in the ocean?
I did know that. Whirlpools.
Also known as eddies, these black holes
maybe not.
are similar to the ones we see in space. They're essentially whirlpools that are so
okay, they're whirlpools, kind of like
can
that.
escape their pull. What makes them even scarier?
I thought that was just a normal whirlpool that happens in the ocean.
Massive. Some measure up to 150 kilometers in diameter.
Are they going to tell us what starts it?
They're created through a mix of water at different temperatures, wind, and the Earth's rotation. And once they're created, they can last for months or
I always
years.
wondered how they got started.
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense, the mixture of hot and cold waters.
Is a much more terrifying place than the cosmos. From hideous alien-like creatures to the mysteries that lie below the sea, these are just some of the reasons why the ocean is scarier than space.
What are those?
We've yet to discover alien life, but
I know, the Mariana Trench.
You might think otherwise. Unlike our solar system, the ocean is full of terrifying wildlife.
What is that little squid-looking thing?
Simple as sharks and killer whales to the more disturbing-looking red octopuses and proboscis worms. Regardless of their appearance,
I don't like the snake
many
creatures.
Of them are dangerous and won't be afraid to pick a fight. Earth's ocean might be more mysterious than parts of space. For one,
Yeah, I'm curious. I remember there was a certain statistic that I read actually pretty recently that we've only explored like 15%. It might be a little more than that. Honestly, could even be less than that. But something like 15% of our oceans have been explored, which is insane to me that we're already going into space as, I mean, you know, as some people would say, and we just haven't explored all of everything that's on Earth. That's crazy to me.
We don't really know what the bottom of our oceans are like, and we might just know more about the surface of Mars and the Moon.
See, the videos. I swear I didn't watch this video beforehand.
Mapping out the ocean floor. This might give us clues about what oceans are like on other planets. It also helps NASA test gear that will be used in space missions. Outer space and our ocean are...
They test space gear in the ocean? Actually, that does make sense. Wait, is there a pressure in space? There's got to be pressure in space then. Is that why they test in the ocean to like protect against the pressures of... Because that's the only thing I could think about. I guess the movement, but I wouldn't think the movement's the same because you could propel yourself through water, whereas in space, you have nothing that's reacting to you. There's no air. So I'm curious as to why they do their practices in the ocean
more
instead of like,
we think.
you know, laboratory rooms that have
lack of breathable air and
kind of space feel.
Temperatures. But what makes the ocean scarier? It's teeming with life that can attack and kill you. Yeah,
it's the reason I don't like the ocean.
Passively trying to kill you.
Everything in there is trying to kill you.
Is actively trying to kill you.
Look at that. The
Huge destructive asteroids or meteors heading toward Earth are incredibly rare, but you know what isn't?
Our atmosphere burns those up. I don't really have to worry about asteroids too much.
To rise at an alarming rate, and if the trend continues, our sea levels could rise over 2 meters by the year 2100.
Better run if you're in California.
Coastal communities like Venice, Bangkok, and New York City would face severe floods, causing parts of these cities to be displaced.
I didn't expect that.
Okay, before we keep exploring the ocean, let's talk about a way that you can explore your mind that's both free and accessible. Well,
is this an ad?
Comes from our sponsor.
Hey, it's an ad run.
It's for all the What If fans who want... Light works differently in both space and the ocean. In space, without an atmosphere, the light is harsh and unfiltered. Yeah. This leads to problems like radiation exposure.
If you're in the side that the sun's facing, the heat that you experience in space is like extreme, whereas if you're on the side that's dark and there's no sun, you're freezing. So it's one or the other, two extremes. You got to pick one.
Luckily, with our advanced space technology, we found a lot of ways to overcome this. Ocean, there's a lack of light.
I love his shirt, by the way. I just saw that.
The terrifying creatures that have evolved made them frightening looking and potentially dangerous.
Yeah, what are these
Space has some
creatures?
scary things that can come for us.
They're very
like
alien-like.
Solar flares, giant explosions from the sun that shoot light, energy, and high-speed particles out into space. One massive solar flare hitting Earth could disable all our electronics, sending us back to the Stone Age. The chances of one hitting us are incredibly rare.
Yeah,
though.
I thought so, because if you really think about it, space isn't as close as you would think. It is miles and like millions of miles away, to where if it shoots one of its solar things off, the odds of it hitting us are very slim. We're like a needle out there in space, and you got to hit that needle.
Bounce off our ozone layer.
Yeah, and we have the ozone layer. That's true.
What isn't so rare? Hurricanes. These
Tell me about
powerful weather events form over the ocean.
Florida just had a hurricane. Hope everyone out there is doing pretty good.
Extremely high winds and heavy rainfalls, which can leave entire towns flooded, even decimated. And they're not the only devastating events that come from the ocean. Tsunamis are much more terrifying.
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah, okay, I'm glad. That's a little more scary to me than a hurricane. Hurricanes, you do have the high winds and a lot to worry about, but for me, it's tsunamis. There's nothing you could. If you see a wall of water moving towards you, what do you do? Where do you go? You try to get high ground, but the higher you get, if you're in a building, how sure are you it won't take the building down? The biggest thing is height. You got to get up high, but you also need to be sure that that area is stable enough to withstand this amount of water smashing into you.
Reach over 30 meters high, and once they reach land, they're incredibly dangerous. They can cause severe floods,
and it doesn't give much warning.
Destroy anything on the coast. The Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004 killed 225,000 people.
Wow.
No one's ever gotten lost in space. With an entire support team watching over you, using billions of dollars.
I can imagine it's pretty easy to get lost in space if you
can rest easy knowing you're in good hands.
Let go when you're out there. I guess when you're on spacewalks, you're tied into that stuff.
Just swimming out a little bit farther than you usually would while at the beach can leave you stranded, unable to find land. The ocean has over 3 million shipwrecks in it, making it one of the most dangerous places on Earth.
Titanic is one.
You don't have to worry about random weather attacks in space. In the ocean, it's a different story. Lightning can strike the ocean at any time. It happens often
true.
due to its sheer size and it
Never
being
thought
a
about
magnet for
that.
lightning.
That lightning, when it strikes near the ocean, it has no choice but to hit the water. And I know if lightning hits the water, it like disperses out across the water. Never thought about that. I wonder, there's got to be some kind of math behind it of how far a lightning bolt actually, like, how much it threatens the life that's touching the water and how far that radius is. I'm really curious as to that.
It can spread for up to 100 meters. And
yes, he answered that.
This poses a threat to boats, swimmers,
okay, so 100
and
meters. That's a lot, to be honest.
The ocean is full
you
of
can get strikes back to back in different areas too.
The flesh-eating bacteria that's found.
You're always told if lightning is striking on land, if you've ever been told this, I'm sure many of you have. So when you think lightning striking, it usually is going to strike a tree. Everyone tells you to get away from trees, get away from anything metal, obviously, because metal's a big conductor of electricity. But usually I'm told that trees are a big thing that lightning goes for. But if you're in the ocean, there's no trees, so it's going to strike the water and spread a lot,
warm
clearly.
Parts of the Gulf of Mexico. The bacteria can get into swimmers' open wounds and cause ulcers on the skin.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
Antibiotics should be able to solve this issue, but it can sometimes get so bad you need to amputate a limb.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, space doesn't have anything as scary as that. Up in space,
funny enough, I think I'm more scared of our oceans than space as well.
Space junk. And while there's some concern
there's nothing
about
in space that I know of that's actively trying to kill me except my mistakes.
Concerning as
whereas the ocean is,
we have swimming around in the ocean.
Yeah, and the pollutants. Yeah,
in the
that
North
too.
Pacific Ocean, there's a massive island of waste known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
I heard about this.
It's made up of mostly plastics, making it almost impossible to break down.
That is insane.
As a result, it's harming ocean wildlife and could destroy entire ecosystems.
Wow.
Up in space, the debris is monitored closely by space agencies.
Yeah, I say that as, and as he says it, you know, space has probably the same amount of debris. We don't exactly go retrieve much. It kind of just floats around up there, and the debris field just keeps getting worse and worse. So it's pretty bad in space too. Don't get me wrong. I would be worried in about a decade or two sending anything up there in space. Like he says,
constantly looking at
they have things kind of like noted as to what kind of debris is up there, but how do you get it? How are you ever going to get that and bring it back down?
So
I guess they hope it probably just eventually works its way down into orbit, where it will then burn up in Earth's atmosphere. I'm assuming.
Vast unknowns of space are pretty terrifying. They don't come anywhere near to how scary our oceans can be. You know what else is terrifying? Spending 5 seconds on Venus. What mysteries does this planet hold?
Next video.
Well, that's a story.
Well, that was a little bit different than what I expected, to be honest. He didn't talk about the high pressures as much. I was expecting high pressures to be a big key point, where if you go to a certain depth, the pressure that is pushing on you from having like millions of gallons of water on top of you is so immense that it's tough to even get any manned kind of vehicle down there into the ocean. Normally, we have to send robots down there to map it. So that would be a big key factor to me. What about the, I forget what they're called, cyclones, I believe, but it's a water tornado that happens in the ocean. Those are pretty common depending on where you are, and those are pretty terrifying as well. I'm shocked you didn't, note that at all. And the sea life. You didn't do as much of the sea life as I would have expected. We have, so many different shark variations that you could go to. Some squids, but I don't think that's really a harm to us as humans as much. Any of the kind of stuff like that. There's, heck, in Australia, I know they have something that I would have expected to be here called the rockfish. And if any of you don't know what that is, it's terrifying. Go ahead and look it up for yourself and let me know what you think, because it is, it's not fun if you step on one of those. I've been told it's a rough few days. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.